So very good morning to all of you. Today we are going to discuss about team dynamics at work. It's HR 301, which is a part of the HR specialization paper of MBA. So it is a part of the third semester syllabus. The paper name is Team Dynamics at Work, and the paper code is HR 301. So today we are going to discuss about what is an effective team and how to form an effective team. What are the characteristics of effective team? So these are the things we are going to discuss today. But before that, let us understand why the teamwork is important. With the age-old story of the hare and the tortoise. If you can remember our age-old story of the hare and the tortoise when they both went for a race, and the hare was very much confident, I'm going to win the race, and even if I'm taking a nap. So if you can remember that the hare took a nap, and in between, the tortoise slowly won the race. So what was the moral of the story was that is slow but steady wins the race. But now the story does not end here. Now the hare is thinking, I was overconfident. I lost the race because of my mental framework. So I could have won the race. So again he approached the tortoise that I want to go for another race. So this time here did not take any nap. So what was the result? Result is this time here have won the race. So now what is the moral of the story? Now the moral of the story is that is fast and consistent will always beat the slow and steady, right? So if you are slow and steady, but if your competitor if is fast and consistent, they are always going to beat you. So in the competitive corporate world, it is better to be fast and consistent. But now the tortoise is thinking, how can I win the race? So he developed a strategy and approached the hare that he told that we have to go for another race, but in a different route. The route consists of a river in between. The hare did not know that. So here again continued, did not take any nap, but ultimately he could not cross the river. See, he has to stop before the river, right? But the tortoise slowly and steadily come to that particular river, cross the river, won the race, right? So what is the moral of the story? That is identify the core competency and change the playing field accordingly. If you are very good at spin bowling, develop a spinning pitch. If you are very good in first bowling, develop a first pitch. It's like that the Australia-India kind of match, and when we used to go to Australia, they used to prepare a first pitch. When Australia comes to India, we used to prepare a spinning pitch. That's the age-old story again. So that's the thing. If you are very good at communication skill, try to identify the opportunities where I can show your communication skill. Similarly, if you are very good in presentation skill, try to identify the opportunities where you can show your presentation skill, right? Now the story does not end here. Now they have both the hare and the tortoise thought that we could have fought the race in a different way. Now again they have gone for the race in the same route of where there is a river in between. Now the hare actually carried the tortoise up to the river, and now the tortoise carry the hare to and cross the river. So both of them won together. So that means together actually they can perform better. Both of them won, right? So that is the fundamental concept of teamwork. So today we are going to discuss about how to build an effective team and why that effective team is important for the organization. And we are going to study with the philosophy being adopted by IBM. Okay, so this is the concept that we are going to discuss, which is basically an IBM philosophy. So we are going to study about the characteristics of an effective team. So now, what is an effective team? So effective team operate in an environment in which there is two-way trust, in an environment of open and honest communication. That is very important. Like there are two terms. If you want to develop an effective team, two fundamental concept is there must be two-way trust and an environment of open and honest communication. So two-way trust means both the party, both the team leader and the team member should have trust amongst each other. The team member should trust the team leader the team leader should trust the team member, right? And there should be an open and honest environment of communication. Because if I'm feeling that if I'm communicating in my company, in my team, that may be utilized against me. Maybe my opinion would be criticized in front of others publicly within the team, even outside the team. So if that is the kind of environment we are having, then what will happen? That the team member will be scared to express their opinion. Even if there is a lack of trust, team members will be scared to express their opinion. They will be thinking that if I'm giving my opinion, my idea, my creative ideas, somebody else will be taking that idea and will be taking that credit. So that is the reason I'm not going to express my idea. So that is going to hamper an effectiveness of the team. So the first criteria an effective team should have is that two-way communication. I mean, two-way trust and the open and honest environment for communication. So that is the fundamental concept. Now the next point is the feedback on the performance. If every regular interval, if you are getting as an individual about your performance, then that is going to be effective to create an effective team. So feedback on the performance should be two-way and constant. Both the party, both the team leader, team leader should give feedback to the team member, and the team member should give the feedback to the team leader. So that will create an effective communication system and creating an effective team. It should provide information to all the members of the team on how their work support the specific and the overall effort of the team and the practice. That is very important. So each and every team member should know how their performance or how their activities is going to affect or is affecting the overall performance of the team and the overall performance of the organization. So they can know what is their output. Maybe there is a person who is a simple data entry operator, but that person should also have the right to understand he is doing his work or her work. What is the ultimate outcome? What is the big picture? Why he is entering the data in the Excel sheet? Why he is entering the data in that particular software? What is the reason? There must be some output. So when they will be able to understand, they will be contributing to the effectiveness or the performance of the overall team. So then his engagement with the team, connectivity with the team will be much more, right? So that will increase his level of motivation, and thereby that will increase his productivity. So that is important. And the next one is that listening is a feature of communication. So that is very important. All the team members has to listen to the team leader, and the team leader has to listen to the team member, and all the team members should listen to each other. So that's the idea, because that the success of any team that depend on communication. If people are scared to communicate among each other, so that will be creating issues. So that is the reason. So listening, we need to listen to each and every one, and act accordingly, so that the people will be encouraged to talk. So that is very important. So this point is the feedback on performance is another characteristics. Next is the accept the responsibilities. That is very important, that the team should accept the responsibility, not the blame, or blame one another for the team's mistakes. Nor should they spend useless time in personal justification. There may be success, there may be failure. Accept that responsibility. Yes, it is a team effort. We are working in a team. If there is a failure, it is everybody's responsibility. Take the responsibility. Don't just blame each other. We should not spend time uselessly to blaming each other or justification. Now, I have done my best. I was, if it is a one-man show, I would have won. But if it is a teamwork, because of the others people, we have lost. Not the issue, because we know that we are working in a team. So if we have to win, we have to win as a team. Everybody has to perform. So definitely, because of some mistakes, we have lost. But we have to take the responsibility. Don't spend useless time in just blaming each other. So that is, so accept the recipe. If you're accepting the responsibility, so that is going to be a perfect criteria for an effective team. Next very important point is that is the concept of your prideful humility. So what is that? So they celebrate their success together, just as they identify the special performances and the contribution of each individual. We have won. That means we, as a team, we have won. But definitely, along with that, we are going to recognize each and every individual's performance and the contribution as well. But that is the concept. So as a team we are playing, as a team we are working. So if we are successful, we have to celebrate together. Maybe one person, one particular team member have not been able to perform really well as per the expectations, but however he is also a part of the team, so he should be a part of the celebration. It is not that you have performed poorly, so that's why you should not be a part of our celebration, because you have the zero contribution or a very less contribution. So that is not the fact, but you need to understand that is the importance, that the good teamwork is based on the prideful humility, that the pride is the outcome of the team as a humility that assume that other team members may well have a level of expertise that can add value to the outcome. Very simple. Take a cricket match. I mean, one bowler have scored rather was very expensive throughout the match, but in the last ball there is a requirement of only 1 or 2 runs, say for example, I mean for the particular batsman, but he actually bowled a dot ball. So that is the reason we have won the match. So because of that ball, actually we have won the match. So throughout the match probably he was very expensive, not able to take any wickets, that is okay, but however whenever there is a requirement, the last ball only 2 runs is required, and that particular bowler have bowled a dot ball, and we have won the match. So that is important. Identify that, recognize that. So that is the idea. Small little contribution of each and every team member, identify that, recognize that, so that their level of motivation can be improved, and in the next match maybe their performance can be improved. So that is the fundamental concept of your prideful humility. Next one, mistakes as opportunities. So we need to take and consider the mistakes and opportunities for further improvement. So good teams look upon for the first time mistakes and opportunities for learning rather than criticism and punishment. First time mistakes is okay. I mean, it is a mistake for opportunity and learning rather than criticism and punishment. So they are, however, they are tough in repetitive error. If the errors are repetitive in nature, so definitely we are tough on that. Just as they encourage the appropriate risk and the innovation, right? So that's the idea. So mistakes as opportunities. If it is the first time mistakes, allow it. Don't go for any punishment. Don't go for any criticism. Help them out how to overcome that. That is important. But however, if it is a repetitive mistakes, definitely we need to take care of it so that these mistakes cannot be, some mistakes are there which cannot be tolerated, which cannot be repeated. So maybe some appropriate training needs to be organized in order to overcome the problems that people, that particular team member or team members are having. Honor the contribution of others, that we have already discussed, that everybody's contribution should be honored. So good team honor the contribution that each member makes to the total work of the team. So you as the leader are the team's expert in particular area of responsibility, that's leadership. Maybe say for example, you have a secretary who is very good in word processing and the procedure, and the receptionist is very good in client relationship. So everybody has a role to play that you need to identify. Each and everybody in your team has a very good role to play, and and everybody should be feel proud to be associated with your team and whatever the responsibilities they are having, right? So we need to honor the contribution of others. So that is very, very important. So honor the contribution of each and every employee, irrespective of the job profile. That we need to honor their contribution. Now, how to create an effective team? One of the strategy is the holding a stand-up meeting. Okay, holding a stand-up meeting. So what is that? Stand-up meeting in this short meetings held at the beginning or the end of every day. Take an example that the ICICI Bank having a strategy that is called ABH, or the after business hour. After the business hour is over every day, say for example at around 5, when there is a official proceeding handling the customer is over, then the branch manager is going to call each and every employees of the branch and will be talking that how each and every employees have performed today. That say for example he is telling, hey Rahul, you have done really well in handling that very much agitated customer. You handle them very well. However, you could have done this in order to handle these things. So these are the positive and the negative things. Both the things will be discussed. So they are meant to be very short, less than 15 minutes. Go around a table. Ask, what are you doing? What are you plan to accomplish today? Is there something preventing you from getting your task done? Simple questions. Just ask. Understand what they have done. Okay, if you are doing it at the end of the day, ask that what are the things you have done today. Have you faced any problem? Do you need any help? Ask that. So he will be feeling that he is not alone, or that she is not alone. His problem is also a problem of the team. They can discuss among others, right? So that's the idea. But this stand-up meeting should not be a status meeting for the boss. The boss will be coming and everybody will be very much scared to give answers. If that is the meeting principle, then it is of no use in the stand-up meeting. It should be informal. It should be, people will be free to talk and discuss their problem. That is the issue. So complaints, it is not a complaint session. It is not, no complaints will be encouraged in that kind of meeting. Everybody will be trying to blame each other. No, this is not accepted. We chance, that is identifying a specific person to be blamed. No, don't do that. And meant to go beyond 15 minutes. So if required, definitely we can go beyond 15 minutes. There is a hard and fast rule that we have to confine ourselves within that 15 minutes. So, but stand-up meeting should be informal, no compensation, no we chanting, and of course, it should not be a status meeting for the boss. So, how to be an effective team member? Now we have understood that how to create an effective team and what are the characteristics of effective team. Now, as an individual, how we can become an effective, team member. So, simple concept. Number one is a communicate. That's a very, very basic principle. Always communicate. Whatever no communication is always a bad communication, right? So, always communicate with your people. And if you have a problem with someone in your group, talk to them about it. Letting bad feelings brew only will only make you shout and want to isolate yourself from the group. So, always talk. If you have anything, any problem, any issues, stop. So, no communication is a bad communication. Remember that. Don't blame each other. I mean, say for example, you have understood, that don't blame others. You are not fooling anyone. That people know who is not pulling their weight in a group and who is not doing well. Actually, everybody knows that. Now, pointing finger will only make you look out. So don't do that. Everybody can understand who is working and who is not working. So if you are blaming that in front of everybody, so you are making yourself poor, right? So that's the don't blame. Support. So support the group. Nobody likes know it all. Right? So help each others. You may not be knowing everything. You need help. So similarly, you can also help others. So support your team members. Next one is the listen. I mean, listen carefully. Active listening is very important. Understand, acknowledge, paraphrase. What is the problem? Next one is the, get involved into the job. It is not your, just a 10 to 5 job coming to the office, desk job, doing some data entry and etc. going back. No. Get involved, understand, enter into the issue. Understand the problem, solve the problem. Okay, that is called the get involved. So in this way, if you are following this thing, that is the communicate, don't blame, support, and listen and get involved in the job. Definitely, you can become a very good team member. And how to form a great team? Simple principle. That are the principles we have already talked. Along with that, if you have a good leadership, hire smart people, and lots of training, conduct lots of training. So definitely, you can form a very good team. Along with definitely the principles that we have discussed, you need to follow that as well. Next very important concept we are going to discuss, that is called the Apollo syndrome. Okay, Apollo syndrome. The simple formula or the simple concept of Apollo syndrome is that is when sum of part is less than the whole. When sum of parts is less than the whole, that means Apollo syndrome is a phenomena discovered by Dr. Meredith Bellman. Is described as a condition where a team of highly capable individuals can collectively perform bad. I mean, your team members are really excellent. I mean, they are highly capable individuals, but whenever they are, working together in a team, as a team, they are not able to perform. This phenomena is called the Apollo syndrome. Okay, so what is that? I mean, why these teams are not able to work? But how the Apollo team is being selected. So Bellman's criteria for selecting his team used to be ability on the aptitude test to select those who are high analytical skill. So you are actually hiring the people who are having high analytical skill. Okay, the initial perception was that this team is going to do fantastic, but out of the 8 team, they are actually finishing as 8. Okay, so they are not able to perform, but individually they are very much brilliant. Okay, you have hired the best person from different organizations, best brain you have hired, but whenever they are working together, they are not able to perform as a team. So what is the reason? The reason is that they spend excessive time in abortive and destructive debate and trying to persuade others that other team members should adopt their own view and demonstrating a flair of spotting weakness in others' argument, that you are saying, I am the best. I'm the best analytical person. I have worked for that company. I'm having this experience. I'm having that qualification, etc., etc. That's the reason my point of view you know to accept, because I'm having so much of experience, I'm so much qualified, so whatever I'm telling you need to accept that. So it's abortive and destructive. So everybody is telling that, everybody is telling that. Okay, and the fear of you know what is our objective, that identification of the weakness of the other's point, that you are wrong, pointing fingers of others. So we are busy in that, in so much that we are not concentrating on my job. What is my output? What is my objective? What I have to fulfill? We are not bothered. We are bothering in identifying the weakness in my team members, right? So definitely this team cannot be successful as a team. So they had difficulties in decision making with a little coherence in the decision to reach. I mean, they are not congruent. There is no cohesion, so they cannot take any decision. So team members tended to act along with their own favorite lines without taking account of what the fellow members were doing. Whatever I am thinking, I'm the best, so I'll be taking the decision. In some instances, the team recognize what is happening, but they are overcompensated. They are not doing anything, right? So this is the reason the Apollo teams failed. But this Apollo team can be successful as well. So what they have to do? The successful Apollo teams were characterized by the absence of highly dominant individuals. In a team, you cannot be dominant. In individual, you can be brilliant, but highly dominant person in a team is a detrimental for the team's effectiveness. A particular style of leadership, you know, is not required. It must be flexible as per the requirement. So successful leaders were skeptical people who sought to impose some shape or the pattern on the group discussion, and the outcome of the group activities, that is important. Outcome of the group activities is important. They focused on the attention of setting of the objective and the priorities and shaping the way the team effort was applied. The successful leaders were tough. You have to be tough, discriminating people who could both hold their ground in the company yet not dominate the group. That is the characteristics that is required in order to be an effective team. So that is the fundamental concept of your successful Apollo teams. Okay. So how to form an effective team? So that is very important, creating a team. So it is a simple terms, the stages involved, building them, there's clarity of the collective goals and why you are forming this team, why you are forming this group. So the clarity should be there. Identify those inhibitors that prevent them from reaching their goals. Identify the inhibitor and remove them drastically, right? Put enablers and to assist them. And we are removing the inhibitors. Similarly, we have to include the enablers. That is going to help them out in assisting them in achieving the goal. Measure and monitor the progress to ensure the goals are achieved. Now, as we have understood that one of the point of the effective team is the giving timely feedback, appropriate feedback. For that, we need to measure, we need to monitor to ensure the goals are achieved. So how this team formation, like if you want to go for this kind of skydiving team performances, so it is not going to happen in a single day. So team formation takes time and usually follows some easily recognizable stages as the team journeys from being a group of strangers to becoming a united team with a common goal. So that is the fundamental concept of the team formation, and definitely we are going to study in details about the team formation, which consists of majorly 5 stages in our next session, right? So today we have discussed about these things. I mean, the characteristics of effective team, how to form an effective team, what is Apollo syndrome, and I mean, what is unsuccessful, I mean, why the Apollo team failed, and what are the characteristics of successful Apollo team. So these are the things we have discussed. So if you have any question, you should feel free to ask questions in the particular platform that we have already discussed. So thank you so much for attending the session.